You invite somebody into your home, but they want your home. They want your life, and they want to take it, so they poison you. Or they stab you in the... It doesn't matter. Either way, they take it, right? Except now in an alternate reality, you understand that potential. Or at least this is another generation into the future. Doesn't matter. Point is, eventually that is going to overlap and overlap and overlap. There's always going to be somebody who wants what you have. Why? It still baffles me. Hypocrisy, I suppose. It's usually the cause. This is why I so strongly believe in the true artist's utopian society. I always say that. That's just taken to an extreme. Turning every life into an art form is because individually we learn to love these things. We create our own psychoses. We really do. And it doesn't matter whether or not you're trying to own Mars or you want to orbit Venus. Every time you invite somebody into your home, what is the derivative? And so if it overlaps, that you are objectified, well, eventually it's going to be your plot of land that is so special. It's not just simply them making their own house. It's not going to be them met intellectually on a ground and pacified or neutralized. People that want what you have or what you are. And it all goes into the fact that what I'm talking about is basically a philosophical, analytical attempt towards immigration. We have too much immigration. It's not expanding outwardly. Why is that? Why the fuck is it that we can give people the technology, because we have freedom of information, we can give people the ideology, we can teach them how to build homes and move water and form lakes and purify the water and teach them how to be at peace in their own environment. People want to take. They want to destroy. That's why we have racism. Is because of this. We see this in cultures as this trait. I mean, the foundation is perceived that Americans stole and slaughtered. War has been around forever. I mean, there was war within the Native Americans long before we ever arrived. There was war throughout the world, greed, the same disgusting nature. If you go back another 100 years, when settlers arrived in the United States, or North America, I should say, there was genocide by Catholic rule to acquire gold at all cost by a queen in Spain. It's a shame. It's really a shame. See, I hold great respect for Tenochtitlan. It's pretty cool history. Moving water from the ocean to create a lake. This great king built a receptively utopian society. Corrupted perceptively by the Spanish, who were told to acquire gold at all costs. Personally, I think since there are tests being done as scams, right, that there was just this massive society and culture. I believe that they were in harmony because if you look at history, through expansion, there is always collapse with population growth. If there is a massive amount of population growth, you always have this sort of struggle. But it's only until you reach a certain population density that people start to develop, as history tells us anyway, confliction in certain volumes. And so then you have subsections and subsections and subsections. Well, the United States has never hit that population density. However, we have created metropolises, lots of cities, metropolitan grounds, places where people can test. But since atmosphere is not the same throughout the hemisphere, throughout the latitudes and longitudes, and especially with Earth's orbit and our atmospheric patterns, it's very variable, it's randomizing. We can't just be living on a perfect sphere, encountering the same circumstances and just testing weather as a variable for the madness that we encounter. Acquire gold at all costs. 67,000 tons of gold. Sounds like El Dorado to me. A city of gold. Culture of gold. Where will the gold come from? Where did it go? I mean, what's it being used for? We will never know. For all we know, there was a global society and another struggle. And in that struggle, gave South America the prosperity, and eventually gold was seen for art and turned into art, as some legends tell, with Incan worship. And there were all these shrines of pure gold. Dang, this is freaking crazy, right? Used for its mechanical properties, not the lust of equity or wealth. How long did that take, too? Now we have all these pyramids. All these pyramids are unified, right? Through the same concept. And surely, just as humans and birds, I mean, I suppose if Darwin had anything to say about it, that it is quite possible that people have spread through diversity. Now, what is our thesos? I believe, since we are cognitive and biological, that we have two thesos. One is to become man, if you are a man, and another is to become woman, and that means that we are human. So we are biologically, our thesos is to grow, to die, to reproduce, and recreate the process. Now, cognitively, great philosophers have always argued happiness, except happiness is a niche emotion in my philosophical progression. I do not acknowledge happiness as our thesos. I argue happiness is a niche emotion, and any self-aware human being who is cognitive will refute happiness because of cognition. So you are aware to your own corruption of happiness because you're taking it from other people to define your happiness. And that is a huge issue. I do not like the people believe in happiness. Just be happy. What the fuck does that mean? What was that culture that all they wanted to do was feel pleasure? That failed too, right? I don't necessarily disagree with that. It's fine. It's how we collapse and how pleasure becomes vindication, how cognition becomes diversity. And I'm not arguing. Yes. Oh my god, there's so much shit to say. Okay. Anyway. What is our thesis? Knowledge and understanding and wisdom. We take knowledge and we understand and we develop wisdom. We have understanding and we pursue knowledge and we develop wisdom. If we have wisdom, we pursue diversity of thought. And those are in the variables. So all three of those compound philosophically to create this pyramid of objectifications, of self-awareness, essentially. Let's end it there.